Here's a fun fact for you. That was take 2. I said that whole speech a second ago and didn't have the record button hit. Oh well. Morning. So apparently we made a boo-boo and we just about overran our bin. So the dryer's running all night, emptying out the wet bin, transferring in from the dryer in the number 2 bin. And Dad said he got over here this morning, checked it, and it was full to the top. I mean, it was just about to start spinning some belts off of the dryer. So we got her in time. We got lucky there, but our probably gonna get try out the grain vac. The pipe out of the dryer air system is plugged. It's not really plugged. I mean, we can open up. I'll just show you. We can open up this pipe here. This is kind of how we change bins. When we do that, I mean, there's corn all the way to the top up there. So when we do that, that's going to all fall down. And then we'll probably be able to fire the blower up and blow what's in the pipe out. But we'll have a lot of corn right here to clean up. You can see corn on the ground. That came out of the eaves of the bin. Probably still coming out of the eaves a little bit. But yeah, we got close to making a big pile. But we had more space. Figured up our acres. You want to update the board?
Yeah, hang on.
So last year we would come in here and cross off farms and fields and all that good stuff. This year we're just going to update acres.
Depending on which side of the camera lens you're on, this is either going to be some really bad news or some really good news.
They're probably getting tired of watching us do the same thing every day. Counting just first crop.
Yeah, we got bonus acres this year, kids. Last year I think we rolled all these numbers together. Double crop beans.
Yeah, I thought we had 1,000 acres left. I mean, between beans and corn.
Well, I mean,
I was off by
you were only off by a bunch of acres.
About 300. So not only did we about overflow a grain bin, started the morning off at 7 o'clock, locking the keys in my wife's car with it running, so that worked out well. But we got it unlocked. Well, we ain't been transferring long. Just a little after 10 o'clock. So I would say that leg's probably moving around 5,000 to 6,000 bushels an hour. So I'd like to at least let it run an hour or two to get it off the roof. Took BJ to go get the grain cart. It still has a load on it from last night. We're going to go ahead and dump it while we're waiting on this frost to burn off. We had a really heavy frost last night, the first real killing frost of the year. BJ's got a good quote for you. We'll wait till he gets back down here, but really we're going to have to wait for this to burn off a little bit longer. Probably be another 30, 40 minutes at least, probably an hour. Yeah, my son thought it had snowed this morning. Got down to 27 degrees. I hope my camper's not busted. Now, if you guys missed yesterday's harvest video, go check it out and go check out my buddy Ron's channel from Harton Family Farms. He was hanging out with us yesterday and he has some pretty cool drone footage of us both running in this field. Yeah, check him out. I like Ron, he's a good guy. And he fixed my grain leg yesterday. So here we can see non-devastated corn stalks. Now I was cutting these a little high yesterday. Normally we would have the header down a little bit, but the next pass, we have Gleaner devastated corn stalks. Devastated with a Yetter devastator. It's all broken over. And granted, it looks like grain carts ran through here, but you get the idea, folks. Non-devastated, devastated, non-devastated, devastated. So we're still transferring, or we're going to try to transfer as much as we can. Basically, until we start harvesting, we're going to keep this leg running. I'm gonna climb up here and see if it's off the roof yet. You don't want grain up on the roof. That'll create some rotten corn. You'll start sweating right there, and yeah, you just don't want that. Don't get the proper airflow doing that. Well, we're not quite down much. I ain't been to the peak of this bin in a while. Oh, that really screws BJ. The railings move. Oh yeah, it's packed full. So right now, grain's going out of this bin into that one. That bin's only like 5 or 6 rings up, so still a lot of storage space in that bin. So we do have enough space in the dry or wet bin that we'll be able to run most of the day, or all the day probably. We have roughly 25,000 bushel wet bin, and I mean, it's just got the floor in it. It's pretty much empty, so we should be able to you know, run pretty much all day. Now we might have it full after today. Good airflow. You'd think I'd know better than to do that, but every time. Couldn't even see anything in there. So we're going to attempt to start our blower and see if we're plugged. I'd say we are. I'd say we're going to have to get the little vacuum over here tomorrow morning.
Go on and tighten that
Start
down.
tightening it up.
If it pulls down, it ain't gonna see what happens.
Ears. Where's your ear protection?
Didn't know it was required today.
Oh, it's going to be loud.
I'm following a complaint.
I can't hear you. I'll hear it later. Well, when it died, that was the sign that it didn't work. So now we gotta go over here, turn a pipe, let a bunch of corn just basically fall in the ground. This is why we have concrete all around here. The first year we had the bins here, we plugged this same scenario. We plugged the pipe, and we didn't have we had gravel here, and it's easier to clean up with concrete. That's a fact. Oh. Well, that didn't go quite like we thought. You think it's plugged at the top?
Plug it back right into it.
You want to try to run it back into one? Right back into itself. Just do that.
Yeah, well, that's better than all over the ground, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're heading to the field. Getting a little bit of an early start today, but that thing is definitely plugged, so we'll probably have to pull that pipe loose right here or over here at this elbow and just make a pile of corn. That's gonna be fun. Oh, I can tell Big Mike's been in here. Seats on the floor. So BJ was dumping the Kenworth and he was going to bring it over. So I'm going to go down. Dad's looking at some things on the combine. I'm going to go down there with him. See what we got going on. So we got about 45 acres here we're going to do. And then, I don't know, we've got some smaller fields around here. We might try to hop around and do them. I mean, it's wet, but it's not super wet. And those fields, once they get wet, they don't really dry out much. So we might try to go do those. So we have our rep from Capella down here. He's helping us do some adjustments on this head. He took one look at it and thinks he knows why we were having some issues with it not feeding properly. So we're basically changing the timing of one of the folding sides. And I don't know, see how that goes. Like I say, I know this head's capable. It's the same head that's on that yellow one. And it, you know, we've had that head since 2013, really never had any issues.
Mandatory thing.
So basically this thing you're taking off here is just a splined piece, and that's what's timing our head with our bottom, or this auger with our bottom auger.
Yes, that's what times the two augers so they become one continuous piece of flighting.
Okay.
Back.
and the 6-blind coupler.
Oh, okay.
And that's where we sometimes get mistimed.
So that only
makes it a
goes
lot
on
easier.
one way, you're saying?
Yeah, that 3-pin.
So that's what keeps it. Okay, I couldn't say, well,
So
hell,
once
just
it
turn me
latches
over.
in, it'll only go one way, yeah.
So Dad's going to unfold. Now, a lot of people have said, why does this head fold so slow? Our other one folds pretty fast. It's really not on the Capella side of things. It's just the way that the plumbing is going on that Gleaner. It's just not as quick as the Lexion. But it's still faster than dragging a header wagon around, especially when you're short-handed. So this one we still need to adjust a little bit as well. So basically you're saying you want this piece closer to here?
Yeah, you want this flighting to end with that one so it becomes one continuous auger when it's unfolded.
Now I'm trying to figure out if I can con Kevin into trucking for us all morning. We can run both combines again. Dad's getting ready to take off and see if these adjustments made a difference.
Oh, cruise wasn't on.
Oh, he engaged.
Something must have worked for him. He's a little faster than he usually is.
See if we can see any header loss. I didn't see much header loss there. Much better than it was. So BJ,
Yes.
has carding to the crooked spout, has that been a challenge this year?
What's crooked about it?
Well, it's not a straight spout.
Diagonal is straight.
Has it bothered you any?
Yes, I lose sleep at night, every night. That hasn't bothered me any. All I do is pull up, find a speed, and you guys do the work.
So that thing seems to be running pretty good. I think since it's feeding better, we have less header loss. It just seems like it's getting the corn into the machine versus where it was sitting there kind of bubbling. I think that was contributing to some of our header loss. Walking behind the machine, there's just nothing on the ground. And that's nice. Glad we got that figured out. But I think now we are going to go eat us a ham sandwich. The office is just right there. And then we're gonna go after the other semi. It is just the 3 of us today. I don't know if Big Mike will be able to make it today or not. So at least for now, we're only running one machine. Now, what was your quote you had earlier today about the frost?
Oh, you have to see my Instagram story.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah. I found a frosty patch. Today is the day that all the red combine operators in the area have been waiting on. The first hard frost. If you know what I'm talking about, you know.
So BJ brought me over here to get the last truck. Had us a ham sandwich, head back to the field. We already have one truck loaded. Cart's half loaded, so you know we're starting off already behind. That's the way we like to do it. Still transferring. We've got a while before we got to worry about that bit overrunning. Now I might have had a boo-boo and started this truck about an hour and a half ago. It's been sitting here idle ever since. So the good news is the air's up. Alright, we need to shut off or transfer a bin. And then we need to come out here and turn our leg into going back to the wet bin. Right now it's going to this bin. Pushing this pedal lifts up the pipe up top, and then we're able to turn it to right here. And we're good.
Where we park our trucks is starting to get fairly soft. Hasn't rained in a few days, and it was fairly firm yesterday when we came down here, but just that's about the only spot we can really park and load. And just the continuous traffic is starting to make things happen in the dirt over there. So be glad to get this field behind us so we don't start slinging mud anywhere.
It's like Mason's there. Hi, Mason.
see it for a minute. Let me see it. Give me it.
This is a hard job, but somebody's got to do it.
Look how far I am from the heat.
So we finished the farm we were running at, and I guess we're going to move. Dad has to get some fuel in the combine though. So while he's doing that, BJ and I are going to shuttle some trucks around, dump all the trucks, get everything caught up, and then we'll get back to running. We're not moving far. In fact, it's just across the road. The only problem is we don't have a very big landing for trucks. In fact, I think we can only get 2 semis in there at one time, so that might slow things down a little bit. That's where having multiple drivers is definitely a nice thing, because you can just have 1 truck at the field but 2 trucks on the road. But we'll get by. So we are going to go check this bin. This is the one we were about overfilled. Let's see how much we got transferred out of it while we're moving. Might fire it back up for a little bit while we're waiting on some loads. So we got our cone down a little bit, but we still got a lot more transferring. All right, we got to sweep up while we're waiting on BJ. Oh, Kimasami. I think he's speeding.
That whole ties up to the first signal.
There's the next victim. Anybody else have sketchy crossings? Yeah, there's some gravel on it. We'll get by for the year. That's the motto. Hans, what are you doing here? Go home. You can't ride in the combine. Go home. Okay, so we've moved to the next field. I did just notice that our indicator on the side of the bin there is lit up. So we have roughly like 7,000 more bushels of storage. Probably, maybe 8, but we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Now we are considering switching to beans tomorrow, which is gonna be good because we're gonna be out of wet storage space here anyways. All right, so we got the truck parked here. I gotta tell you, that truck is awesome for pavement. It sucks. The traction control button is stuck. You can't turn it off, and you just spin and stop and spin and stop. Trying to go up that wet grassy hill. About got stuck in wet grass. And the button that locks your diff, doesn't work either. So I climbed up here on top of this knoll, kind of overlooks the cornfield. The cornfield just kind of circles around it. It's like a drone, but without, you know, the helicopter part. This is a 45 acre field. I highly doubt we'll get done tonight. We're probably gonna run out of wet space, but it's kind of a goofy shaped 45. It's not real efficient. Like those rows right there, they're like, I don't know, 50 yards long, maybe. Let's see my ride.
They hurt it really bad twice. Why did you try one the silver?
I'm gonna try to run you over. You see a semi coming, you get out of the way.
Well, I got out of the way.
You did good. I didn't think I came close to running you over. Just wait in line. Boy, the LEDs from the Gleaner really highlight how dirty the windows are tonight, don't the kids? So historically, this is one of our worst fields when it's in corn, and I heard Dad on the radio on the way over here having BJ stop and tell him all the bushels that he's counted over the past 10 acres because he doesn't believe his yield monitor, so it's a good problem to have. Okay, so the combine and the tractor, they're right behind me. Dad and BJ actually passed them on the way here. Apparently they forgot to memo to me that, you know, we were quitting for the night. But anyways, it's getting pretty frosty. There's frost on the ground. It's getting a little tough to harvest, so calling her quits for the night. We made a pretty good dent in this field. It's 44 acres here. We started right at dark. We got roughly 30, 35 of them done. So I'd imagine we're gonna come back here and finish this, but yeah, it's getting cold. All right, guys, that is it for today. Thanks for watching. Please, if you're enjoying this content, do me a favor and thumbs up the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And we'll see you tomorrow. We've got like 7 good days of weather. I think we're going to switch to beans, and we should make a pretty good dent in those this week.